And happy Friday. It's a pleasure to have y'all on here. Welcome to Founder Fridays. Another awesome Friday, another awesome session for us today. Hopefully you enjoyed the smooth vibes as we started to pick up. Let some others in as well. But hopefully y'all feeling good. You had a great week. And we got a special guest with us today. I'll introduce Dr. Graham very shortly. An awesome session surrounding data analytics, data science, how to leverage that to enhance your business, to take your business to the next level. So I'm excited. Just a quick recap. If you've never been on today, as far as Founder Fridays, we're here every single Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. virtual on a variety of topics like today, data science. Last week, we talked about managing conflicts with potential co-founders, potential partners. The week before that, we talked about secure the bag, how to raise VC funding, the red flags, the do's and the don'ts surrounding, how do I fundraise? And so I'm excited today. I'm looking in the chat. We got some people from all over. We got some LA, we got some Lancaster, Pennsylvania, some Baltimore. Guaranteed that some others will hop on soon. It's a little early, but I just wanted to celebrate everybody that's on today. I'm super excited for the session today. And so without further ado, I want to be respectful of everybody's time. So I want to kick it off with our guest speaker, Dr. Graham. And so just to give you guys a quick overview of Dr. Graham, this is the man right here. This is the man, the myth, the legend. So you're in the presence of some greatness today. As far as Dr. Graham, Dr. Johnny Graham is an award-winning entrepreneur and educator dedicated to helping Black entrepreneurs launch and scale their business ventures as a means for increasing wealth and expanding community impact. Dr. Graham currently serves as Associate and Regional Center Director of the Howard University and PNC National Center for Entrepreneurship. They're doing some awesome work. I've seen it firsthand. I'll talk a little bit about that later. It says the National Center aims to be a leading resource hub for Black-owned businesses and entrepreneurship education at historically Black colleges and universities, HBCUs, around the country, providing programming, capital, curriculum, research, and other resources in a collaboration with HBCUs and their surrounding communities. Since 2017, Dr. Graham has served as a marketing professor at the Howard University School of Business, HU, where he has taught numerous courses, including principles of marketing, multicultural marketing, marketing analytics, and marketing for startups. In addition to his role at Howard, Dr. Graham is the co-founder and board chairman of Our Dream Foundation, a nonprofit organization which provides entrepreneurship programming, mentorship, and startup funding to youth in his hometown of Baltimore, Maryland. I love that. Dr. Graham received his Ph.D. in business administration with a specialization in marketing from Temple University. Prior to attending Temple, Dr. Graham graduated from the University of Maryland College Park with a bachelor's degree in finance and MBA with a specialization in marketing and strategy. And so, of course, aside from the very professional resume, amazing accolades, we'd like to put a little spin on it at the end and just speak toward our personal encounters with our guest speakers. And so I'm privileged to say that Dr. Graham, as impressive as his resume is, he's very passionate and serious about the work. I've been in spaces where he's curated some amazing events for HBCU and Black and brown entrepreneurs, including Black Commerce. If anybody was in there, amazing session, amazing, especially for the first one. I know I'm excited for next year already. And so even aside from, outside looking in, we've been able to work on some collaborations like our Howard University Pull-Up and Pitch event, which was fire. If you missed it, you missed out. Taraji was there, Walmart sponsored as well. We had a pull-up and pitch event, some amazing Black and brown entrepreneurs, Howard University entrepreneurs who walked away with, funding, mentorship, encouragement, and so forth. So overall, I'm excited for the session. Dr. Graham is about his business, and he's sincerely about it. As I walked around the university with him, I would see the students, and it showed that they respected him. I was just recently an HBCU student, so walking around the school, sometimes, who's really feeling the professors and who's not, who's the real professors that really want to see you excel. And so just seeing him even interact with the students, I was like, yeah, Dr. Graham is the real deal. He's serious about uplifting the HBCU community. And so I can genuinely say that. And so without further ado, we in for a treat today. I want to present Dr. Graham for an awesome session for us. Let's show him some love, everybody.
Great. Appreciate that intro, Keontae, and definitely want to thank Venture for them for all of your support
for the Howard University and Ph.D. National Center for Entrepreneurship. I know that's a long title. I didn't come up with it, but really appreciate, you all supported our first inaugural conference, Black Commerce, and then even with our Bison Boss Summit just a few weeks ago with the pull-up and pitch competition, which is a really integral part of just our entire celebration, day-long celebration around entrepreneurship at Howard University. So glad to be here and talk a little bit more about an area related to entrepreneurship and business that I'm really passionate about, which is understanding data, how to utilize data to inform business decisions, how to utilize data to just become a more thoughtful, a more insightful entrepreneur and business leader. And so, as Keontae mentioned, I am a educator, a professor at Howard. So in typical educator fashion, I do have slides, and I will share these slides and everything. But again, as I'm talking through, it's going to be a little bit interactive and more of a discussion. So if you have questions or comments throughout this presentation, feel free to ask them. This is an open dialogue and discussion. So I'm just going to go ahead and share. Give me 1 second here. Okay. And I think you all should be able to see my slides here. Should be loading. There we go. And just real quick, if I can just get some energy in the chat, in the room, scale of 1 to 10, how is everybody feeling on this Friday? Just scale of 1 to 10. 1 meaning, you know what, not feeling so great. 10 meaning I'm feeling awesome and ready for the weekend. How are we feeling? Okay, I see some takes. Solid 9, okay. Some 6s in the middle, 8.5. That's very specific, Jeffrey. That's 8.5. Okay, Jewel, 8.5. Kind of in the middle between the 8, not quite great, but getting to that point. Well, hopefully by the end of this presentation, it's a little nerdy, a little nerd out talking about data, but hopefully we can get closer to 8.745. Marcus, I appreciate the precision. Very specific there. But really hope that we can get those numbers up even higher at the end of this presentation. And so just to start off, I have a quick question for everybody. This image here that's on the screen, what is this? What is this image? What is it? Anybody? Anybody want to raise their hand? We can make this just like class. Anybody want to raise their hand? What is this image right here?
Is that an old school calculator?
Cash register.
Somebody said a calculator. That is a cash register. That is the OG original cash register. Well, once we kind of moved on from pen and paper, that is the original cash register. And this was the original source of data for business owners. So before we had social media, before we had online platforms and artificial intelligence and all these different kind of digital-based platforms to analyze data, to collect data, we started with the cash register. And I think that really sets the tone for this discussion of like where we come from to where we are now in regards to collecting data as a business owner and using it to inform decisions. When we had what I call the original POS or original point of sale system, we were able to collect information about how much people were spending on our products, right? Revenue. But now we're in an environment where business is just completely transformed, and we can collect all types of information from our customers, from people interested in our business that can lead us to make more well-informed business decisions. 50 years ago in 1973, we think about how business was conducted, right? We found out about a product through television, through this old thing. I know you all may not know what this is, but newspapers, that's where we got the news. Like we had to get a physical thing to read. We listened to radio. We had people, even though it still goes on today, we had people call our house telephone trying to sell us something. And that's how we found out about products, right? And then once we found out about different businesses, different products and services via those different mediums, get this, we actually had to leave our house and go to the store to purchase it. Like it wasn't like sitting at home now where we could just order something on our computers and get it delivered to us. We actually had to leave the house to buy something, right? But now in 2023, we're in an age where we can find out about products via digital mediums, whether we're talking about social media, whether we're talking about email, whether we're talking about our phone devices. We can consume information and purchase products and consume content from Amazon, from streaming services like a Netflix or Spotify. We can utilize devices like Square to even engage in transactions. And with all of these various different platforms that are oftentimes made available via digital technology, via the internet, we can collect even more data. You said there's a block in the middle of the screen. Can you all see now?
Yeah. I think it's something still kind of lower at the bottom of the screen around where Netflix is too, that's blocking it a little bit.
Is this better?
Yeah. And then there's one more right next to, I think, what does it say? Pinterest. One more small section.
Gotcha. Is this better?
Yep. It's still kind of one like a rectangle next to Pinterest for some reason, but I don't think it should be blocking as much anyway. So I think it should be fine.
Got you.
Okay, yeah, there it is. It's all good.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Got you. So for all these different kind of digitally informed tools and platforms, we're able to collect all sorts of data, all sorts of information that just wasn't possible 50 years ago. And that really has kind of like catapulted this area or this study of data science in regards to businesses. You know, we consume as consumers across the entire world 2.5 quintillion bytes of data each day, of new data each day. 2.5 quintillion. And if you don't know billion, you know trillion, but quintillion, just to give you a sense, that's 18 zeros right there. 2.5 quintillion bytes of data created each day. And so we have this idea of what we call big data that's really important to companies. When we're talking about big data, it refers to data sets of information available to companies being so big and complex that we can no longer use applications like a traditional Excel to analyze that data. It's inadequate. It doesn't have the processing power to analyze that data. And so it's the fact that we have such a high volume of data from a variety of different sources. So we can collect data from business transactions, from social media, from sensors, from different machines, and transfer that information across machines. It's a high volume of data. The speed at which we can collect that data, that velocity is different than it's ever been. And just the variety of data formats that we can collect and be connected to each other really kind of allows for this greater study of data science and data analytics because we have such big data. And so this data science informs so many aspects of our lives as consumers. For instance, anybody in here has Spotify or Apple Music or Tidal. Data science informs like music recommendations while we're listening on those platforms. Or if we have Netflix or Disney Plus, data science, data analytics will inform what shows are recommended or what content is recommended to us to view. If anybody in here is like me, is a big sports fan, data science and data analytics can inform the topics that we see on television and the chatter online about certain athletes or teams. Oftentimes, I'm a big LeBron James fan. The Lakers are a topic of a conversation every day because companies like an ESPN or Fox Sports or NBC Sports will analyze social media chatter and use that to inform what topics should be most talked about or popular on their television shows. And even data analytics and data science will control and will automate certain messages and certain advertising that gets to us on an individual basis. And I wanted to share this very brief video to really kind of show this in action, how data science is influencing just even the personalized ads we receive on a daily basis.
Say you're shopping in this Armani store in Hong Kong, then your friend calls. You answer the phone and leave the store. For Armani, you're a lost customer. But then the next day, you're sitting at work looking at your phone and you get an Armani ad reminding you of your visit from yesterday. Wait, what happened here?
But I didn't give any information. I didn't register my name. I didn't register for an app.
If you have a smartphone, your phone is constantly sending and collecting different signals from GPS, Wi-Fi, so on. So we use those signals to understand your location.
That's Miran Miranyuk. He started a company called Cosmos, which tracks shoppers offline and helps stores market to them online.
We don't need you to install an app. We don't need you to connect to Wi-Fi or Bluetooth.
Cosmos is in more than 100,000 stores in which it can track location-based activity 24/7, and it's tracked more than 1 billion smartphones. It's so precise, it can narrow down where you stood in a store to about a 6-foot radius.
So we can tell that someone was trying the makeup, someone was trying fragrance.
And 6 feet is really just a few steps.
Maybe like 2 steps.
Cosmos doesn't actually install anything in the store, but they do need to physically visit so they can map out the space and understand the Wi-Fi signals in different areas. Cosmos is able to know your movements because it buys the data from the apps that you've already given permission to know your location. And it's not hard. 400,000 apps are sharing data with Cosmos. On average, 7 apps have permission for location tracking on a typical smartphone in China. So a store can now track a phone that was in the fitting room, but never made it to the cash register. Then, using anonymous IDs based on your previous locations, ads are purchased on the likes of Facebook, Google, and WeChat. And that's how you get those targeted ads. The ad on your phone could prompt you to buy it online or go back to the store. Your technology can also track if I stood here and then went across the mall to your competitor.
Exactly.
I'm a user that I come to like a luxury store like this, and then I go to McDonald's for lunch. What does your data make of that?
We'll probably think that you are just window shopping. Maybe you'll go online and try to get the same luxury clothes cheaper.
Cosmos is active in China, Japan, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. Their clients include Burberry, L'Oreal, and Budweiser. And Miran says many of his clients want to expand into the US next.
I'll pause there because they've already expanded into the US. This technology has been used for the last 3 to 5 years within the US. And it's just really just showed you just the level of detail and the level of innovation into how data science is being used by different companies. All right. Overall, when we're talking about data science, particularly in the applications of business, it refers to the study of data to extract meaningful insights for business. So this idea of taking data to lead to insights and decisions for a business owner, for a company. And that's what we're going to focus on today, just over the next couple of hours. When we're thinking about the purposes of data science and how companies are kind of really integrating or utilizing data science in their daily operations, kind of 4 main purposes of data science: descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive purposes. When we're talking about descriptive purposes of data science, that's when companies will examine data to gain an insight into what's happened in the past or what is currently happening in real time with their business. So really understanding kind of certain metrics or certain kind of trends that have happened in the past, and understanding, getting kind of a snapshot or a screenshot in the current state of their company and how the company is performing on certain activity or certain metrics. Diagnostic purposes, when we're talking about data science, really is trying to understand why something hadn't happened. When we're looking at patterns of data in the past, not understanding what happened, but why it happened. Are there certain correlated factors that are related? For instance, is there some type of business decision we made that instantly led to an increase in sales or a decrease in sales, or an increase in new customers or a lack of returning customers? That refers to diagnostic analysis or diagnostic purposes of data science. When we're talking about predictive purposes of data science, that's, I think, one of the most fascinating things about data science, using data from the past to make forecasts or predict things in the future. So based on previous performance, what do we predict will happen in the future? We can analyze past data and use certain algorithms or certain kind of statistical analysis to predict what will happen in the future. And prescriptive analysis really focuses on not only predicting what's going to happen, but kind of automating some type of optimal decision or recommendation for a company to make based on past data. So not only just showing you kind of what will happen or predicting what will happen in the future, but kind of which approach or pathway will lead to the most optimal outcome. So descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive analysis, okay? And we do have limited time today, so we may not get through every single thing about data science and data analytics for business, but I'm gonna try my best to get through as much as possible, and we'll leave some time for questions. And again, as we're going through this, feel free to ask any questions that you may have. But when I think of data analysis, data analytics, data science, there are kind of, I think, 3 major questions that a company will ask or needs to ask to kind of think through that process of data science for their company. And I call it the 3 A's of analytics: acquire, analyze, and act. When we're talking about acquire, what sources of data are available to collect data? Where are we going to get our data from to analyze? So where are we going to acquire data from? When we're talking about analyzing, we're talking about what metrics are we going to measure from the data? What are we going to really calculate? What patterns do we want to kind of track or trend over time, observe over time from that data? And then act. Based on that analysis, how can we use that data to make certain marketing related or company related decisions? Okay. So again, acquire, analyze, and act. Acquire, what sources of data are available. Analyze, what metrics and how will we go about kind of looking at certain patterns or trends in data, and then act, how can we use that analysis to make certain data related or market related decisions? Okay. And let's first start with this idea of acquiring data, right? These sources of data. We went through kind of the start of this session, this original point of sale system, the cash register, but we obviously have evolved into a more digital age where we have certain digital point of sale systems that can allow us not only collect information in regards to sales revenue, but so much data just down to the individual customer level. I have here just an example of kind of the modern cash register, what I like to think is a modern cash register, which is Square. It's an ability to kind of engage in taking transactions as a business and collect data based on those transactions. Square and a number of other platforms really allow us to collect so much information about who's supporting our business, certain trends, certain data on what products are being purchased, when they're being purchased, where they're being purchased from, and really offers us a variety of options to utilize that data to inform our strategy moving forward. Overall, when we're thinking about whether it's Spotify or any other kind of digital point of sale system, I really think it's kind of important to consider a few kind of key sources or kind of pathways of data, particularly in regards to customers. So this can apply to Square or a few different other platforms that you may use. And I think it really revolves around who, what, where, and when. Okay. For any entrepreneur, whether you're in a B2B business, SaaS business, B2C business, really considering who's buying your product, so their name, collecting their name, email, and other contact information, if it's possible through surveys or other means, understanding their age, gender, ethnicity, and income. I think that's all relevant to even just understanding your target audience and whether you're even reaching that target audience. In regards to the what, understanding, okay, you know who's purchasing, but what are they buying? What items are they purchasing? Okay. Where? I think this is oftentimes an overlooked data point when we're talking about where our customers are located and where they're purchasing from. I think one of the most valuable pieces of data that can be collected on a customer basis is looking at or considering what zip code or what neighborhood your potential your customers are located in, because that can inform brick and mortar locations, that can inform targeted advertising, even in the offline or traditional context. That where question can be very informative, and understanding the where about your customer can be very informative in making certain decisions about your strategy, particularly as you scale. And then the when is also a really important question. So what time of day, what time of week, how often or how frequently are certain items purchased? Collecting that data from your individual customers and aggregating it across customers can offer up an entire, very broad approach of insights that really can better help inform your strategy. Okay. Also, so I am a marketing professor, so I love looking at kind of this data analysis from a marketing context. And so when we're thinking about digital marketing in particular and sources of data from digital marketing, there's so many kind of examples or opportunities for big data and analyzing data to inform decisions. So whether you're talking about owned media, so that's media or platforms that the company has control over, so company-owned social media accounts, text message listservs, email listservs, a website, always can be a great source of data. Paid media, so whether you're talking about paid search via Google or other search engines, whether you're talking about online ads on another website or on a mobile app, can also be sources of a lot of data. And even what we call earned or organic media can be a great source of data. So other people talking about your business for you, whether on Yelp or Amazon reviews, can also be a source of great data to inform your business strategy. Okay. Also, when we're talking about sources of data, one of the kind of systematic or kind of process tools or approaches that I think a lot of companies skip is what we call customer relationship management or CRM tools. Basically tracking your sales funnel for your business. So when you have a lead or you have somebody that expresses interest in your business, kind of following their journey, their customer journey or process from that lead to ultimately when they're converted to being a customer, and looking at certain steps along that pathway and seeing where they kind of fall off or lose interest. Okay, I'll talk in a little bit later about certain metrics that can try to track this process related to CRM. but customer relationship management platforms and tools can be a really rich source of data for any business in tracking the flow of potential customers to actually converting them to customers and long-term supporters of your business. Okay. Any questions so far before I get to analyze and really get into talking about metrics?
I do have a quick question, Dr. Graham, for you.
Sure.
Because I love how you touched base on CRM, customer relationship management. And I feel like a lot of early stage founders, sometimes that's an oversight, like that's a blind side for them. Because sometimes when you first created something, like that's your baby, right? And so you're so focused on like your relationship with it and, you know, how you want it to grow and so forth, but not always thinking about, you know, start to finish acquiring that customer. So I guess just like as an early stage entrepreneur, if I'm considering CRM, I guess what's like the first steps toward that in your opinion? Like where would I even start in terms of, you know, maybe like a CRM tool or
Gotcha.
maybe just like learning more about CRM in your thought process?
Got you. So I'm not. This is not an official endorsement, but I will say Howard University does have a partnership or has had partnerships with a particular company that provides a lot of tools relevant to this, and that's HubSpot.
Gotcha.
Particularly their marketing hub is really great for CRM and collecting data related to CRM. And they actually have a number of kind of free online workshops and courses related to this and really understanding this from an early stage entrepreneur or founder standpoint. But HubSpot has I think a very kind of user or business owner friendly tool to really implement CRM into your business at an early stage. I think there are a few other kind of companies out there. Salesforce, obviously, I think is much better suited for larger companies. But HubSpot, I think, does a really good job of providing tools that can be implemented even for smaller early stage companies. And again, when we're talking about CRM, we really want to track anybody that has potential interest in our business. And we may be able to get in contact with and kind of tracking that sales funnel from that initial viewing of an ad or initial contact and kind of tracking their progress until they officially make a purchase and tracking their behavior post-purchase and seeing kind of how often they revisit or become a returning customer.
Gotcha. No, that's perfect. I've been hearing great things about HubSpot too. So just wanted to plug that in for some of the founders online. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's a really good tool. And again, I would say it's definitely something you want to even consider with some companies beyond HubSpot that are even like industry specific. So even in like education now, in entertainment, there are specific CRM tools just based on industry. And I think, you know, you can, Google or search for some of those specific tools. So if you look up entertainment business CRM or tech business CRM or education CRM, there are a number of tools that are kind of being custom designed based on an industry for relevant to CRM as well. All right. In regards to analyzing data, that's second A, analyzing data. This is where it gets fun, right? You have all this data that you're collecting, but like, what am I going to do with all this data? And I think it's so crucial to understand and consider when you're collecting data from a lot of different sources to have a goal in mind of what metrics you want to track, right? When we're talking about metrics, it's generally a quantifiable, that means it's numerical, a quantifiable measure that we're going to track, monitor, and assess to really evaluate the success of our business and maybe the failure of our certain different business operations or processes. And so quick scenario, quick question for everybody that's here, relevant to metrics. I have company A, company B, company C. Which company out of these three companies do you think have better financial performance? If you all could type in the chat, because I can kind of see it in my corner here. Company A, company B, and company C, which have better financial performance? I see a company B. I don't see some people responding. I think some people, you all think it's a trick question? Company A, company B, or company C? I see company B as well. Okay. Any other guesses? Company A, company B, or company C? Keontae says A, company A. Maya, what's going on, HU? All right. Maya says company A. All right. Any guesses on what companies are represented here between company A, B, and C? Any guesses? A, B, or C? Which company? I see a guess for Amazon, Nvidia. This is 2022 data, by the way. Walmart. I see an Apple guess. Let's get to the big reveal. We'll see what companies these are. We got Apple, Google, and Amazon. I don't think anybody guessed Google, right? And so let's see. A few people said company A. Why company A? Why did company A have better financial performance? Any thoughts? Those of you that chose company A, which was Apple?
Company A was my second. I was thinking maybe because it had the most profit.
Mm-hmm. Because they had the most profit, okay. A few people said company B. Why company B?
I said company B because I think they had a good profit, but their revenue wasn't as large. So I'm thinking of like the ratio in a way.
Their ratio of profit and sales revenue.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Nobody chose C. Anybody else or why they chose company B or company A?
I didn't choose C because just the numbers just being really low. But like Jeff said, that difference in sales revenue from profit for company B, that's the main reason why I chose B. And I felt like the profit for A was too high. So yeah, I just felt like with the sales revenue, I felt like B was the best bet.
Okay. Okay. What you all are kind of getting at here is an very important metric that I think a lot of businesses ignore. We always talking about somebody has this much in sales revenue or this much in profit, right? But really kind of like the key metric related to that to really measure how effective a business is operating is what we call a profit margin, okay, or profit margin ratio. It's not always enough to just say, oh, we're making X amount of dollars in sales revenue. I mean, for a new company, that's a great metric. But at the end of the day, to really survive in the long run, you want to understand kind of your profit margin, understanding how much of that money are you getting back from your sales revenue to reinvest in your business. If you have high sales revenue, but you also have high expenses, that means your company's not going to be very profitable. So sales revenue isn't oftentimes the greatest metric to measure financial performance. And then when we consider profit as kind of a ratio or percentage of sales revenue, generally the higher our net profit margin ratio is, the better. So the greater that percentage is or closer it is to 100%, the better. Also, when we're talking about profit, and this is kind of getting into accounting a little bit, it's really important to understand kind of two different types of profit and kind of when we're kind of reporting each, making sure we're indicating the difference. Gross profit and net profit. Now, depending on what industry you're in, what type of business you have, the importance of each of those metrics may differ. When we're talking about gross profit, that really comes into play when we're talking about more physical products and less kind of digital businesses. Gross profit refers to our sales revenue minus our cost of goods sold or the cost to actually create and make our product that we're selling. In regards to net profit, that is our gross profit minus overhead, so our fixed costs, and minus taxes, interest, depreciation, all those other costs, okay? Gross profit and net profit. And again, when we're talking about our profit margin ratio, that metric is so important because it really not only allows us to understand, okay, well, how much of our sales revenue is actually coming back as profit so that we can reinvest in the business, but then also a great metric to use as a comparison point with other businesses in your industry. It may be the case that you're in an industry in which generally profit margin ratio is typically very low, under 50%, under 30%. And that's just the nature of your business. The margins are very thin. And that's okay, but it's a great kind of metric to kind of use as a comparison point across different companies in the industry, okay? Another important metric, cost of customer acquisition, CAC, sometimes called customer acquisition cost. I'm a marketer at nature. I'm a marketing professor. So this metric I always think is overlooked and is really important when talking about your marketing strategy and your ability to acquire new customers for your business. So cost of customer acquisition is calculated by dividing all the costs spent on acquiring new customers, basically your marketing expenses, by the number of new customers you get in a specific time frame, generally on a monthly, quarterly, or annual basis. So for instance, if you spent $8,000 on marketing in September and you acquire 40 customers or 40 new customers from this marketing, that means your cost of customer acquisition is $200, right? And generally with this metric, any kind of cost metric, the lower the better. So your cost of customer acquisition, if it's lower, so closer it is to zero, that means you're kind of spending your marketing dollars more efficiently, okay? That means you're spending your marketing dollars, less money to acquire more customers. So you want that cost of customer acquisition to be rather low, okay? Another important metric, particularly if you have more of a subscription model business, is what we call customer lifetime value, or CLV. That refers to the total revenue a business expects from a single customer. And this, again, is oftentimes measured when you have some type of subscription model for your business, and some customers or users are paying on a kind of regular basis for a particular service. I think subscription models are being implemented more and more in so many different types of businesses. But this metric, more than even just simply measuring your revenue, CLV can be a great metric to really understand and get a better picture of the valuation of your company. Okay, generally we calculate CLV by multiplying the average value of a sale by a number of repeat transactions, generally on a monthly basis, and multiplying that by how long you expect the customer to be subscribed to your service or to your particular app or venture. Okay, so just like CLV in practice, right? Netflix is a popular streaming service. We say that, and this is really 2022 data, the customer lifetime value, or CLV, of one Netflix customer is $291.25. How do we calculate that? How do we know that the CLV for one customer is almost $300? Well, we know that on average, and this again is kind of at an older price point, but on average, an individual Netflix user is paying $11.65 a month. Generally, Netflix has studied their users. A Netflix user will stay on for a little over 2 years on average before they cancel their subscription. I mean, maybe Netflix, the content isn't as good, so after 2 years, you decide, you know what, they are trying to save some money. Maybe the content just isn't hitting like it used to, and I want to subscribe to a different subscription service, and customers will leave after 2 years, a little over 2 years. Multiply that $11.65 times 25 months, we get the value of $291.25. Okay, so again, it's really this particular metric is really good at understanding the kind of amount of revenue we expect from each individual customer that's going to support your business, and with customer lifetime value to kind of use as a kind of a broader metric for the valuation of your company, multiplying that CLV by the number of current users you have could be kind of a great kind of benchmark metric to really look at how much revenue you expect to get from your current user base. Okay. Also relevant to subscription model metrics, and I like going through these metrics because we see so many businesses utilizes a subscription model these days. We have the churn rate. That refers to, you do again have a subscription model, measures the number of users who cut ties with a subscription, generally within a month. So what percentage of your users cut ties in the previous month? Okay, that's your churn rate. And then your dormancy rate is oftentimes a predictor of churn rate. Dormancy rate refers to the number of users that are inactive within a given time period, generally within a month. So a dormancy rate may indicate that maybe 15% of your users have not logged in or subscribed, even though they're still paying, but they've been inactive within a given time period. And the thought process is that if a user is dormant, then eventually they're going to churn and they're going to cancel their subscription and leave your particular subscription service. So looking at those metrics, like, okay, what percentage of our users are inactive within a given month? And then looking at what percentage of users are leaving can really help us in kind of thinking through, well, how do we need to better improve our content, better improve our service, better market towards people so that they stay on the service longer or utilize the service longer. Really important metrics for those type of subscription model businesses. Social media metrics. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I think folks talk about social media all the time, and we have so many other kind of avenues of measuring data and metrics of measuring success in regards to digital marketing and digital platforms. But in general, when we're talking about social media metrics, we have a few kind of key KPIs, a few key metrics. Impressions generally refers to how many times a post shows up in people's feeds. So how many times does a post on Instagram, a post on Twitter? I still say Twitter. I'm not converted to X yet. I still say Twitter. I'm old school. Impressions refers to how many times a post shows up on a Twitter feed, Facebook feed, Instagram feed. Engagement's really important. Refers to the number of times a user has interacted with that tweet or post. So anytime somebody clicks on that tweet or post, that's one engagement. So we're talking about Twitter, for instance, that means they retweet, they quote tweet, they reply, they share it. When we're talking about Instagram, that can refer to a like or a comment, a post in the story. Those are all engagements, right? Our engagement rate refers to the total number of engagements divided by the total number of impressions for an individual post. Okay? So for instance, if we get 100 impressions, so our post on Instagram shows up 100 times on a feed on Instagram, and let's say 3 people comment, that means I had an engagement rate of 3% on that Instagram post, 3 out of 100. Okay, this metric, if anybody's interested in being an influencer, this is a really key metric to share with companies as an influencer to try to be a part of certain influencer campaigns. Not about, okay, just how many people see the post. That's important for brand awareness, but also, like, are you building community? Do people engage with the post and like and comment? Does it potentially lead to conversions? Okay, engagement rates, get this. For Twitter, we would consider anything above 1% for a tweet to be great, a great engagement rate. So that's 1 out of every 100 impressions. Okay. For Instagram, generally between 1 and 3.5% is considered average or a good engagement rate. So again, if you have 100 impressions for an Instagram post and 4 out of those 100 result in some type of comment or like or some type of engagement, that's pretty good. That's really good. Okay. Also, reach percentage is an important metric in regards to social media. That refers to our number of impressions divided by a total number of followers. That's a metric that really tells us, okay, are we kind of working with the algorithm the right way? Are we kind of like posting content that the algorithm is showcasing? Essentially measures what percentage of our followers are seeing our posts. A good reach percentage is generally considered to be anything over 20%, regardless of platform, anything over 20%. Okay. So again, what percentage of our followers are actively seeing our particular posts on social media platforms? It's our reach percentage. Okay. Another scenario, not to spark any debate about anybody's talent or popularity, just 2 great individuals here, Beyonce or LeBron. Have a recent post for Beyonce. Beyonce has 198 million Instagram followers. Her recent post had 3.6 million engagements and 50 million impressions. LeBron has 95 million Instagram followers. His most recent post has 4.5 million engagements and 45 million impressions. Which post was most effective or engaging? Beyonce or LeBron? See LeBron. Jeffrey, thank you. LeBron takes the W again. I appreciate that energy. Everybody's saying LeBron, but why? Anybody want to volunteer? Why LeBron?
He started with less followers.
Say that one more time for me.
He started with less followers.
Okay, he has less followers. Yep.
Got less followers, but more engagement.
Less followers, but more engagements. Okay, so almost half as many followers, but more engagements. If you were actually to calculate here, LeBron has a somewhat higher engagement rate and even a higher reach percentage. Again, this is like fictitious. This isn't like real data. But just as a scenario to really understand how this works, it's not always about how many followers you have with these posts. That engagement and impressions is really important. That engagement rate and reach percentage is really important. Okay. People talk about on social media, well, I have so many followers. That's great. That's important. But are you engaging? Are you posting the right content that kind of works with the algorithm of that platform to actually be showing up on people's feeds? Okay. We talked about CRM earlier. and some metrics that can be utilized for customer relationship management platforms or tools. Those followers are bots anyway. In some cases, they are. In regards to customer relationship management and kind of tracking your leads becoming customers, some important metrics there. Lead conversion rate, that measures percentage-wise the amount of leads that are actually converted into sales. So if you divide your number of customers that started off as a lead, divided by your total number of leads, multiply times 100%. That's your lead conversion rate. You want that metric to be as close to 100% as possible, so as high as possible. And then cost per lead. That measures how cost-effective your marketing campaigns are. So if you look at how much you're spending on generating new leads for your business and divide that by the total number of new leads acquired, so how effective is your marketing strategy at getting new leads for your business? You want that cost per lead to be as low as possible. Okay, so that shows you have more efficient spending in regards to your kind of strategy around getting leads for your business. Also, if you have email campaigns as a part of your business, which I strongly recommend for any early stage entrepreneur to have email list and send out emails, even if you haven't launched your product or service yet. Just starting with like a basic one page on your website, and just announcing or stating your MVP with a email sign up. Collect those email addresses. Really key to collecting customer data. Just a very great starting point. In regards to email campaigns, open rate, click-through rate, click to open rate. Go through it quickly. An open rate indicates the number of emails open divided by the number delivered. So let's say you have 100 people on your email list that get your email that you send out. Let's say only 3 actually open that email. That means you have an open rate of 3%, which isn't really that good, actually. An open rate really indicates how effective your subject line is. Okay, is your subject line engaging enough that people actually click to open the email? Okay, it's your open rate. Your click-through rate measures the number of clicks on any type of call to action in that particular email, divided by the number of people that receive or number of email addresses that receive the email. So again, if we have 100 people on our email list, and let's say people open that email, and out of those 100 people that receive the email, or 100 email addresses that receive the email, let's say 5 actually clicked on the call to action, which can be a link to your website or a link to make a purchase. We say that our click-through rate is 5%. Okay, what's an even better metric of what we when looking at people clicking on call to actions within our emails, or measuring the effectiveness of our content within the email? Click to open rate. Okay, that measures the number of clicks with respect to the number of opens. So disregarding how many people actually receive the email, but just solely looking at how many people open the email. If out of all those that opened the email, what percentage clicked on the email? So let's say, okay, we have 100 people on our email list. Let's say 10 actually opened the email, meaning that we have an open rate of 10%. Okay. Out of those 10, let's say 5 actually clicked on the link in the email. Okay. That means we have a click-through rate of only 5%, so 5 out of 100. But we have a click-to-open rate of 5 out of 10, or 50%. So out of all of the users or email addresses that actually open the email have actually clicked on the link. That means the information in the actual email, the content, is somewhat engaging to get people to want to do the next step or engage in the call to action. Okay. A few kind of software or platforms that are really great for tracking data relevant to CRM and email. HubSpot, I'm a strong proponent of. MailChimp is great, in particularly for email management, managing email listservs and looking at data in regards to email campaigns, also in automation of email campaigns as well. Drip is another great platform for email campaigns. All of these different platforms will allow you to not only kind of send out these communications, but also to collect data relevant to these campaigns as well. Okay. Yes, MailChimp is absolutely a great resource for this. Okay. In the interest of time, I'm going to skip to a few other things. Tremaine, I see you have a question here. Any engaging email content suggestions? I'm a proponent of less is more. And again, this isn't like all like tried and true for every type of business or situation. But I really think that as much as you can be straight to the point and not be too wordy in the content of your email, so straight to the point of what you want customers to do and making that the focal point, Don't have a lot of text. Pictures are always great. That summarize kind of what you want, what the message you want to get across. So you have some type of printed or digital ad that you want in that message, but keeping it very straight to the point, keeping it simple, and kind of making the call to action clear with a button of some sort at the top of frame in the email and not at the bottom, I think is always great in regards to content. Yep. What is the best way to hook the customer? I don't even know how to answer that question, because I'll say this: when we're talking about artificial intelligence and talking about data analytics, I mean, Marcus actually just mentioned that earlier in the chat. I just see personalizing it. What's great about MailChimp and a number of other email management platforms, it does allow for some level of kind of individualized automation. So based on past user behavior or consumer behavior, we can actually, different platforms can utilize that data to send out more personalized automated messages or emails. And that can allow for more effective conversions of customers. So, the best way to hook a customer is on an individual basis, based on the individual needs, preferences, and behavior of each individual customer. And luckily, thanks to data science, we can actually engage in that personalized, customized marketing and targeting now, which wasn't possible decades ago, even 2 decades ago. Okay. One thing I always suggest to early stage entrepreneurs: collecting email addresses, but also having an initial website. We have many kind of more affordable tools like a Squarespace or a Wix to kind of create an early website for your business. And those platforms, or creating any website, really allows for collecting data relevant to behavior and usage of that website by people that visit. And so when we're talking about website metrics, users, which measures, this is important, the number of devices that visit a particular website. So whether you're looking at laptop, traditional desktop, mobile device, looking at a website, measuring the number of users can be great. Measuring the number of sessions or the number of visits to the website can be helpful. The total number of times a page was displayed or viewed by users, or page views. If you're looking at kind of the navigation or construction of your website, that could be very key. Looking at average session duration, so how much time is spent on a particular site, which that metric is really important depending on what type of website you have. If you have a more e-commerce website, maybe you don't want that metric to be but so long. You don't want to have a long average session duration. You want to have a quick funnel for people to make a purchase. But if you have a more informative news-based site, you want people to spend more time on the site, so you want a longer average session duration. And then bounce rate. That refers to the percentage of single page sessions in which there is no interaction on the website, meaning that people go to the website and don't view anything, don't click on anything, they go to a page and just abandon shit. Okay, they abandon a website. Call that the bounce rate. Also, if you have a website that has an e-commerce function, 2 very important metrics: conversion rate and shopping cart abandonment rate. Okay, conversion rate, really important metric. It shows the percentage of website visitors who actually purchase something. So out of all of your visitors to your website within a given period of time, what percentage actually end up in that visit making a purchase? The average e-commerce conversion rate, particularly from desktop devices, 3.83%. So about every 100 visitors that visit your online e-commerce website, 4 actually purchase something in that visit. You're doing really good. 4 out of 100. Okay. You have an even lower conversion rate, average conversion rate for mobile devices. Okay. Shopping cart abandonment rate. Okay. That's the ratio, the total number of abandoned shopping carts to the number of initiated transactions. So quick question for everybody in the room, in the Zoom. Anybody ever gone to Amazon or just an e-commerce site in general and put something in the cart but never purchased it? Anybody ever done that? I know I've done that a lot of times.
Yeah, all the time.
All the time, right? Guilty, right? We've all done it at some point. Whether we realize it's probably too much money to spend, whether we realize a cheaper option on another website, shopping cart abandonment rate is a really key metric to understand where your users are falling off and purchasing a product on your site. Typically, the number for some reason isn't posted here, but typically the shopping cart abandonment rate for an e-commerce site is somewhere around 65, 66, 67%. Okay. So there's a lot of abandoned shopping carts on e-commerce site. So what percentage of people placing something in a shopping cart don't result in a final transaction or a final purchase? Over 50%. Okay. So that's really important to look at if you have an e-commerce site, to understand maybe there's something frustrating to the user about your sales funnel, or which they just don't finally, click on purchase and hit that last button to make or finalize the purchase. I know for a lot of websites, they may just have so many different steps you have to go through before you make the final purchase that eventually, as a user, you may just get tired of it. You may be like, you know what? I don't feel like dealing with this. It's too many steps. But that shopping cart abandonment rate can really show you like where people are falling off and kind of maybe help you have more efficiency in that process. Okay. Few tools that are great for this website data analysis: Google Analytics. I know they had GA4 just was released in the last couple of years. Great to connect to any website to analyze a number of these metrics and so much more information about users to your website. Adobe Analytics is also great. Platforms like a Shopify or Squarespace oftentimes, or even a Wix, oftentimes come with these analytics kind of embedded within the platform as well. So they allow you to build the site and customize the site, but then also can collect a number of metrics and analytics for your website as well. Okay. There's some additional analytics tools that I have here. This is if you're like really nerdy about this analysis and you want to like get in the weeds of calculating things. Oftentimes when we're talking about data scientists, these are platforms that the more kind of integral programmers and data scientists are using to analyze not just business data, but data in general. So more programming tools like a Python, R, or SAS, even non-programming tools like in Excel if you have smaller data sets, SPSS data. Tableau is a really kind of commonly used platform now, particularly for data visualization. So taking data, analyzing that data, and making really kind of cool charts and graphs around that data. So Tableau is a really great tool as well. Okay. I know we're actually a little over 6. Let me know how we are on time and if I need to continue or stop. But I did have a few other slides around acting that last say.
Yeah, if you only got a couple more, Dr. Graham, I think we can wrap it up and then we can pass it over to the audience.
Cool. And so just real briefly in talking about, okay, we have acquired our data, we've analyzed that data, how we use that data to make decisions or to act. And so I'm not going to go through all the slides in this section, but just want to kind of share some key things that are happening around like database or data-driven decisions, right? A few kind of key words here: machine learning. Okay. You all may have heard that term before in regards to data analysis or data science. Machine learning refers to the process of using different statistical models or algorithms to analyze data and make predictions, or make decisions, okay, based on that data, that statistical analysis. Machine learning has allowed for what we call automation. Automation is the analytical capability to detect certain patterns or trends and deliver real-time, no user-assisted or IT assisted, no individual employee-assisted processes or actions. So automation is commonly used for email, SMS, or text advertising, digital ads, social media, in which certain tools can automate a marketing decision or response and do that for your business without you as a CEO, as an entrepreneur, having to do anything. So case in point, as a consumer, from a consumer standpoint, right? Some companies will utilize SMS or text messaging tools that if you haven't visited a business in a certain number of days, whether brick and mortar or an online e-commerce site, they will automatically automate a text message to send to you saying, hey, haven't heard from you in a bit. Haven't stopped by. Here's a 10% coupon for your next visit. That's automation. That's machine learning and automation working hand in hand to market on behalf of the business without an individual human having to do anything. Okay. You may get certain automated emails based on your behavior. You know, for instance, you may have bought one item and may get an email a couple days later based on your past purchase history and the purchase history of people similar to you to recommend other products, and may receive an automated email or automated ad with those other recommended products. Some tools that are really great for this, MailChimp and HubSpot are really great for this. Brevo is another great tool for automation in which you can kind of set up your sales funnel and your marketing campaigns to be automated based on past consumer behavior and collecting that data, and these tools will automate that marketing response for you. And that all relates to everybody's favorite thing right now, artificial intelligence. Okay. Artificial intelligence is the use of machines or computers that will mimic cognitive or human functions, tasks commonly associated with the human mind, such as learning and problem solving. It's like everybody, artificial intelligence, scary thing, right? I have my own concerns around artificial intelligence just from a moral standpoint, but for applications in business, it can be very helpful. Okay. For instance, AI powered fraud detection systems can automatically detect or flag suspicious transactions and alert people that work from your company, human analysts, for further investigation into those transactions. In regards to customer data, AI can be used to kind of understand and identify customer behavior and allow a company to tailor their products and services to meet individualized customer needs. So for instance, this allows for kind of those personalized or customized online ads. This allows for delivering content that is sent at the right time to the right person in the right place. It also allows for even identifying potential clients based on their past search history or their past online purchases on your website or on other websites. Okay. I'll skip through these I just want to talk a little bit more about how other companies are using data to make decisions, but I'll stop there for the interest of time so that we have questions. I have time for questions, but if you want, you can follow me on LinkedIn for just more questions, or just I post about stuff like this all the time. Just scan this QR code for more information, and follow me on LinkedIn. Okay.
Dr. Graham, I do want to just let you know that we definitely appreciate you, man, 100%. I know that Howard is in good hands because I know so many people learned a lot. I'm seeing the chat light up on the different metrics and everything you're going through. And so I just want to give you your flowers and let you know that this was an awesome session.
Appreciate you so much. Appreciate that. And then there's one more QR code. As mentioned, I'm affiliated with the Howard University and PNC National Center for Entrepreneurship, a national initiative to impact entrepreneurship through the nation's 101 plus HBCUs. I'm the associate director of that center and just really fortunate to make impact through this center on entrepreneurs around the country. If you scan this QR code, this will take you straight to our Instagram. If you are on Instagram, to follow us on IG. You also can go to our website, www.hupnccenter.org. I'll put that in the chat. HUPNC Center. Whoops. Center.org. Whoops. I think that just went to a DM instead of to the entire group. Give me 1 second here. And you can sign up for our email list on our website as well for more information. We have all types of programs that benefit entrepreneurs at any stage. And just really appreciate everybody's time today. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Graham. You're the man. Definitely want to plug in the PNC Center. Please check out the links that he dropped and connect with Dr. Graham on LinkedIn. He is an amazing resource. The HUPNC Center is doing amazing things for HBCUs, and it's right here in a lot of our own backyard, right at Howard, the National Center. So that's a big deal. I've been there. I've seen the spaces they've curated, the resources, the opportunities they've given. And so special shout out to you, Dr. Graham. You're the man. I appreciate you. And this was an awesome session. And so make sure everybody, if you can, come off mute, show them some love, go in the chat, show them some love. But we appreciate you, Dr. Graham. You're the man. And if that's everything, guys, as a reminder, please check in the chat. We do have the link for next week. It'll be surrounding mastering your pitch, how to win pitch competitions, some of the green flags, the red flags, the do's and the don'ts. Be sure to follow that link in the chat as well, and follow our social medias at Venture for Them, as well as HBCU Biz, surrounding everything HBCU business. But with that, guys, I appreciate everybody's time. I'm sure you learned a lot today, and be sure to catch us next Friday. Thank you, Dr.
All right, everybody. Take care.
Have a good one, y'all. Have a good weekend.